Pastor, and thank you, family in Christ. One thing that Louis and I always enjoy so much, no matter where in the world we are, is the Jesus family trait that you can just see everywhere. So we feel at home. We hope that's okay with you. It does feel like family. Let's pray that the Lord will visit us today, because today is about family. The message is going to be about how important it is to God that we understand why He made the idea of family, parents, kids, why He defines Himself as a father and us as children. Let's pray. Lord, thank you so much for our identity as your kids. Thank you, Lord, that there isn't an orphan in the house. Even though our earthly parents may not be here anymore, Lord, we are in your home. We are loved. We are so precious to you. We praise you for that grand privilege. In Jesus' name, amen. You can understand that with us, you can sing and be on stage, that I always thought that is the best ministry ever. That's the most important thing. It's all this music, the beauty, and it may be, but there was this one redeeming day. I took my Bible and I read that very last passage of the Old Testament from Malachi. And I saw for the first time how incredibly important parenting is to God in His grand scheme of things. In the course of history, He puts it in a crucial place. Now, who of you have ever studied drama of any kind of drama classes or speaking classes? Okay, so you will know what a dramatic pause is. It's if I suddenly stop. Everybody's attention is right here. And those who haven't been paying attention go, what did you just say? And those who have been paying attention go, I wonder what's coming next. There is this 400-year-long pause between the Old and the New Testament. That's quite a dramatic pause right there. And we are supposed to go, oh, what did he just say? What was that last thing he said? Because it must have been important. And we know that the very next word God said was, I'm sending my son. Here we go. He spoke the word, who was Jesus. That was next. But this last word is up on the screen for you, but I've paraphrased it a little bit. I've taken the liberty of putting in some of the context that I believe the readers of Malachi would have known, because they know that at this point, Israel has become unraveled. All what God promised would happen seems to be undone by their disobedience, by their inability to stay true to God. And they are taken captive and they are off in a country that's not their own. And the prophets are talking to them about this. But the prophets are putting out a hope of complete restoration of everything God had intended for them. And these are the last words. So I've put in a little bit of context, and now it sounds like this. Don't miss this. I'm sending a messenger to pave the way for how the kingdom should really work. He will come to give a solution that will play a key part in the outcome on my day of reckoning. Now we all know that is still coming, right? The final day of judgment is still coming. And God says, let me tell you something that's going to really play a big part. This is what will happen if you understand His message. The generations that have been standing with their backs to one another, disconnected and bitter, will be softened up and reconciled. They will turn around and look each other in the face with newfound love and respect. The parents will deem their children a priority, and the children will open teachable hearts toward their parents. Over this bridge, from heart to heart, a rich legacy of love for God will be passed from generation to generation. This will be called blessing. I'm going to pause here for a moment. God's definition of blessing is the ability to amass godliness that goes from this generation to the next, and they add onto that more godliness, more love of God, more stories of His faithfulness, and they pass it on to the next generation. That is blessing. It will cover your land if you pursue it. Godliness has been dropped like a poorly passed on baton. Since the days of the kings of Israel, read their stories again. If parents and children cannot turn their hearts toward one another, the spiritual legacy is lost too. Every generation tries to dust it off, pick it up, and start running again, but much is lost. This is called the curse. And the proof of it is everywhere in your land. I want to lift this curse, and parenting is key. This is what I understand this to mean. It is saying, guys, when you read the Old Testament, the reason for the mess is parents did not understand the importance of having a bridge. A real relational bridge to the next generation. They did not understand that to be a good king was not good enough. Because over and over we see a king who served God, sons turning away from the Lord. Why? Because it was never important enough to make sure I just hand on this baton to my son, to my daughter, so that they can run even better than I did. And when I read this, there's simultaneously this one thing of, oh my goodness, this parenting ministry, I mean, it's not a waste of time. It's important to God. There's that thing. And at the very next moment, I have this heaviness in my stomach, and I'm feeling, oh my goodness, what if I mess it up? What if I am the one who drops the baton, and my children, instead of having this pose and an arm shot out to run with what I love and what is life to me and what I regard as the most important thing, what if they dodge that thing and go, I don't think it's for me, just drop it? What if that will be my children's response? Does that ever haunt you a little bit? I don't know what the curse looks like in your country. I've not been here long enough to really know what has been lost between generations, but I can tell you what it looks like in my country. The curse in my country is fatherlessness to such an extent that we have a whole generation of young men who have no idea what love means, who have no identity, who have no moral compass, who have no respect, who have no tenderness in their hearts for women, who have no sense of saying no to self because there is never been a father who told them no. There is maybe a granny who was also maybe sick, who saw her kids die of AIDS and is now raising the grandkids and is doing the best she can, but there just isn't the will nor the energy to really do a good job. That's what the curse looks like in my country. And I once had the privilege of going into a prison and speaking to young boys, 17 to 21, who are kept to one side in the prison for their own safety. And we have this idea of that fatherless person. We forget that it's a fatherless person. We just go, animal monster. I'm not sure which one to call you, but you are a murderer or a hijacker or a rapist, and I can't look at you like a human being. And I had arrived on the day when just such a young man was heading into court for his day of reckoning. He was shaking like a leaf. For some reason, we don't think a criminal will be scared ever. I don't know why we don't think so. He's shaking like a leaf, and I said, what's wrong? He said, well, today I find out if I'm going to be here for the rest of my life, and I don't want to. And I asked him what he would like to do if he ever got out of prison, and he said, I would love to be a social worker. Because I want to make sure that every boy grows up with at least one parent. Oh, and it completely changed my mindset. And I thought, oh my goodness, here is a rapist who understands that he may have been somebody else if he were not under the curse. The curse of fatherlessness, the curse of no relationship with a role model who could pass down love, gentleness, humanity to this young man. A spiritual legacy is like a handful of water. If I had to take some of the pastor's water, pour it in my hand, and walk all the way to the back to go put it into your hand right in the back, I will end up maybe with a little drop that I can shake off, and if you can catch it, you're lucky. But if I had you're just 2 steps away from me, I can probably give you half a hand of water because of the closeness that is here. And the closeness from heart to heart is what you and I need to fight for. And that is not as scary as being afraid that I may not be perfect. Anybody can work at being close. Sometimes it's exactly by being honest that we are close, and we'll get to that in a minute. Read with me from Psalm 78. It says, He planted a witness in Jacob, said His word firmly in Israel, then commanded our parents to teach it to their children, to the next generation, so the next generation will know, and all the generations to come. Know the truth and tell the stories. Can you tell stories? That's all you need to be able to do. To tell God's stories to the next generation. You don't even need a children's Bible to be able to do that. So their children can trust in God, never forget the works of God, but keep His commandments to the letter. I see nothing there of us being a perfect example. I only see us walking, talking. Normal life with closeness with our kids. Heaven forbid they should be like their parents, bull-headed and bad, a fickle and faithless bunch who never stayed true to God. So here are a few more clues. Let's not be spoiled brats. Let's be faithful. So let's break that down a little bit. So I already know I'm imperfect. So if I know I cannot pass on this baton by being this fantastic, focused person where my kids go, oh my goodness, Mom, I want to be exactly like you. Because I don't know if it's ever happened to me, to you, that your kids say that. It's not happened to me. Maybe my sanctification is just way behind schedule or something. So every now and then I go, Mom, I really want to be like you. This one little respect, we just qualify. But overall, I know I lack much in terms of looking like Christ. But what I can do is I can model brokenness to my kids, which means I can tell them when I know I've messed up. It means I can show them how to break before God, how to confess my sin, and how to then be chin up because of the forgiveness that is available in Christ. And that is the way I make a child go, oh, Mom, I see we can stumble a little bit, pick up the baton, dust it off, start running again. We can start over. We don't have to be number one over the line every single time. Okay, I think I can run this, hand it over. It suddenly makes the Christian walk more accessible, more attractive, because it says maybe a work in progress like me can run like this. Unlike that boy I met in prison, I grew up with a father. Oh, not just any father. I had a good one. I have a good one. I have a special one. What struck me about him the most is he didn't believe the lie most of his generation believed, namely that a father does not need to apologize to a little 3-year-old. He didn't believe that lie. Every single time he crossed the line, doled out consequence without carefully listening to what was going on, or jumped the gun in some kind of action he took, or missed one of our needs, he would look us in the face whether we were 3, 13, or 30 and say, I was wrong. That brokenness made me believe that there isn't a thing that I could do wrong that would close the door between me and my God, that I would always be able to go to Him And that is the kind of faith I was very eager to inherit from him as a legacy. That second point, live with the curtain open. Who of you like hospitals? You're sick like me. I love hospitals. I love the smell. I love the tension that's in there. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I really do. But you know, other moms often have this fantasy of I want a week at a day spa. I want a week in hospital. You know why? Because I don't have to cook. That's why I want to go. And somebody else is going to make my bed. That's another bonus. I don't need to think what has to happen next. I'm just a patient. I don't know why it's so attractive to me, but it really is. What I don't like about a hospital is when you're there and things seem to be going okay, and suddenly they take that little curtain that's on a rail and they close that thing. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they suddenly start yanking on that thing and they close off this bed next to you. And you know there are going to be catheters or syringes or bed pads or something ugly is going to happen now behind that closed curtain. And you wonder if that person is going to be okay. And I mean, that day when they close yours, you know, you're in for it. I hate those curtains. I want it nice and open because I want to see what's going to happen, what's going on. You know what we do as Christians where we make a fatal mistake is when anything goes wrong, we sin, we struggle, we doubt. We don't want our kids to see that, so we take that hospital curtain and we yank it shut, and we deal with whatever it is behind this closed curtain, and our kids learn nothing of the reality of the Christian walk. And the reality of the Christian walk is sin, doubt, falling, getting up again, struggling, not understanding God, even maybe beating your hands on his chest every now and then a little bit and going, God, what are those words Job said? I want to say those right now. I want to say, I don't think you're being fair to me. I want to say, no, I don't know if you're hearing me. I want to say, no, that it seems to be better for the people who don't even serve you than it is for me right now. That is what's happening in the hospital of real life, even for us who love and serve the Lord. Every now and then, we need to leave that curtain open and walk through those patches with our kids watching. Because what we want to give them in that baton is a real faith, a robust faith that can get through those things. We had a challenge about 6.5 years ago, and 4 armed robbers came to our house in the early morning hours and relieved us of a lot of our earthly goods, but also me of my dignity as a woman. And Louis, they put into his car with a gun in his ribs and kidnapped him. And in those, that's definitely an ugly bed moment. It's a catheter and syringe moment. It's not the kind of thing you really want your kids to have to journey through with you. But at the same time, that experience was the best opportunity for our kids to get an answer to the question. So when things get ugly, does God make a difference? When what you think cannot happen to a Christian family happens, can you still love God? Can you still say He's good? If your picture and what happened to you is front page news, can you still live those principles where you say everybody is worthy of forgiveness? Can you still do that? Can you do that in the face of a rapist? Probably only because you saw one 7 months earlier in a prison and heard his heart. Maybe that helps. So that journey that we went through as a family, curtain wide open, is the journey that I believe will always be the one that stands out for our kids as the reason why they will say, I'm taking the baton from my parents and I'm running with it. It's not because it was all pretty, but because it was very real. And God was very real. And the faith that we had after was a deeper faith than we had before. Because the faith before was just, God will bless us and it will be good for us. And the faith after was, even when He doesn't do exactly what we hoped He would do, we can see Him work, making everything work together for good, for us to love Him, and we have been called according to His purpose. And He can be in the darkest place, even if people say He can't. That's worth a little bit more than a faith that just says, Lord, if you're good to me, I think I will serve you. Isn't it? Never fake it. Oh, and this is so incredibly important. This morning, before we came, I was in pajamas, hair was like that. We ate a dish that had a lot of curry in it, so I don't know what I smelled like this morning, probably not too fresh. Louis wants to testify. You want to testify? And all of that is what my kids experienced before I put on my mascara. Before the mousse and the hairbrush and everything comes out, they see the real me. And that real me can go along with, depending on where we are in our journey and what God has to deal with, it can go along with language that's inappropriate, with impatience, with a lot of stuff happening. That's the real us our children see. If I am going to have spiritual makeup on all the time, say all the right words until we get in the car, then the channel flips and something completely different comes out. What I'm essentially giving my kids is an inoculation. I give them just a little extraction of what Christianity is, just the God speak, just the Christianese. And I give them a little shot. And what that does, that little fake immunization, is it makes them immune to the real deal. Because that little bit of fake Christian talk, and they know it's not who I am. Those pious words, now I'll pray for you, and they've never seen me pray. That is just enough to make them really build up some antibodies against this whole thing. It is so much better for you and I to be able to say, I'm not there yet. Will you join me on this journey? Let's go there together. So much safer. So every time they encounter something of the real thing in me or someone else, they may still go over and win this race. But while I'm still not all I want to be as a Christian example, why I'm still so unlike Christ in much of what I do, even though I passionately love Him, there are three things I can do. I can live all in, which means I don't live as though I'm saying, okay, I'm going to try this Christian thing, kids. You can watch me do it. Maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you want to choose a different route. No. If I believe Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and there is no other name by which man can be saved, then I live all in. And that means, in spite of my mistakes, there is no other goal but Christ in front of me. It needs to be worth it. There is a scripture that says if there's an uncertain sound coming from the trumpet, nobody will come to war. Nobody will respond if you go, hi kids, don't you think it's time to take a bath? Have you tried that? They go, no, we don't think so. So if we're going to go, kids, do you think you maybe want to try God? They go, oh, I don't know. So no, we live all in, all out, all upward. One direction, one focus. It doesn't really even matter how good we are at it at this particular point. As long as our kids can see, for some reason, it's worth your everything. It's worth your time. It's worth your money. It's worth your energy. It is worth your focus. It is worth every pursuit. And you're willing to make a sacrifice to go after Christ. There are too many examples in the lives of people who are going after 5 things at once. To see what works best for them. I love what Daniel's friends did. When Nebuchadnezzar asked them to bow before him and they said no, and he threatened them with that fiery furnace. They didn't say, okay, well, let's see if God saves us. We want to take that chance and see maybe He shows up for us. if he doesn't show up for us, can we have a second go at it? We just want to see, maybe he'll step in, and if he steps in, then that's great. If he doesn't, will you give us a second chance? Because then we may pick you. We're just going to see what works out next. No, that's not what they said. I actually want to read you exactly what they said. Honey, can you give guys my Bible? Please, this is in Daniel 3. Thank you. And something about what these parents did. And just a reminder, these are parents who were taken hostage by the Babylonians because they didn't shape up. But something in their confession of God, something in one of the stories they told their kids must have stuck. Because these Hebrew boys knew what it was to be all in. I'm going to find it. Yeah. I'm going to find it. It sounds like this. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered King Nebuchadnezzar, "Your threat means nothing to us. If you throw us in the fire, the God we serve can rescue us from your roaring furnace and anything else you might cook up, O king. But even if he doesn't, it wouldn't make a bit of difference, O king. We still would serve your gods or worship the gold statue you set up." Man, if there is something I can pray for my kids, it is that they will go through life like this. You know what? My parents messed up. They made many mistakes, but one thing I saw is they were all in. And it must have been worth it for them. And yet, my parents were destroyed. It didn't go very well for them, but something of that single-mindedness rubbed off on me. So you know what? Whether this gets my head chopped off by ISIS, or this gets me cut off from the economy of my country, or whatever, I'm still not going to bow the knee before anybody else. I'm not going to consider any other baton to pick up and run with. I'm going to follow your example. I'm all in. No matter what it will cost me. And imperfect parents can do this. You and I can absolutely do this. We have a singular focus on Christ. I love what Paul said about being a good example. I heard a quote by somebody once said, "Your middle ages robs you of all the fun because you constantly have to be a good example to your kids." And there's something of not being able to just live, when you're constantly so worried about what kind of an example am I setting. And the Bible says you're not supposed to set an example. You're supposed to point to the example, which is Christ. So this, that says, if you only look at us, you might well miss the brightness. We carry this precious message around in the unadorned clay pots of our ordinary lives. So the brightness of Christ, you cannot see by looking just at us as your parents, or your elders, or your pastor, or your friends. You can't. That's to prevent anyone from confusing God's incomparable power with us. As it is, there's not much chance of that. You know for yourselves that we're not much to look at. So here is Paul's message. He's saying, listen guys, if you think we are trying to get you to follow us, you don't understand it. We are training you, yes, but then we are pointing you past us and we're saying, please follow Christ. And if you're not too happy with us, we're only clay pots. We know we are a terrible representation of the true glory of Christ. But we are looking forward to a time when we will be the real us, when Jesus shows up and the clay pot is done and we are revealed in glory. That's Colossians 3. Then we'll know who we really are in Christ and we will look like it. But until then, we're just going to say, try and look past us and try and look to Christ. This is such a relief message for me as a mom, because my personality type as a mom is the kind that has high standards, the kind that loves the law sometimes a little more than it loves grace. that is always on some kind of a mission, always on a timeline and a deadline. And there are things that I will have to regularly say if I'm going to make it possible for my kids to say, I want to run in the same race my mom is running in. I want to take the legacy that she leaves. And I sometimes need a script because I'm blind to my own mistakes, but these are some of the confessions that would go with my personality type. I tend to see what you're not doing well yet, all the while missing some of your best moments. This is not like Christ. This is like me. And I need to be able to own this. I get worked up about untidy rooms and hair and other little things and miss the beauty of your heart. Not like Christ either. I forget there may be more than one good way to do something, and that my way may sometimes not be the best either. I struggle to let go of tasks on my list in order to attend to your needs, and there's another few there. There are, in each of us as a parent, there are aspects where we are unable to fully extend the grace, the care, the nurturing, the patience, the ability to forgive and forget that God exercises towards us as our Father. If we can admit it, that's where we are. And we're still able to teach, to train, to guide, to inspire, to lead our kids to Christ, and to convince them that that is the only way that we'll be on. Let's ask the Lord for the humility we are going to need on this journey, and for the courage to live out a real faith, curtain open, with all the messy hanging out, so that what we hand our kids will be something that can take them into whatever love brings in the future. Let's pray. Lord, you did not sanitize the stories you put in the Bible for us. You never closed the hospital curtain on what it looks like to live for you in a fallen world, with our flesh alive and well sometimes, with our personalities and our dark sides showing up. Even when we know you, even when we love you, even when we have served you for a long time. Lord, we as parents come before you this morning and say, we know we should do better, but we praise you that you are better and we can point to you. And I pray, Lord, that we will be able to do that. I pray that when we speak of you, Lord, we'll speak of you as you really are. Lord, in those 1, 2, 3 times we actually reflect you accurately to our kids, I pray, Lord, that they will see